Hello, everybody. I want to see what I can get for the UK, Europe. I promised to put this video out, but I haven't been really in the right mindset to do it, to be honest. I don't look for things, I try to let things come to me. Or if I'm channeling, I like for them to come to me. I don't want to force anything. I've tried the last 2 days. So let's see. What I speak on is not factual. For YouTube purposes only, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, and I want to mention that I will, if I do anything or speak on the country, Iran or Iran, however you want to pronounce it, I will do so in a different manner because I have already spoke on Iran. And I have put out a video and it's about an hour long and I can't keep talking about something that's not changing in my third eye. I talk about how the gas is going to be used, and it's horrific, and I want to be respectful. So if I get anything, like for example, the supreme leader of the new one, the son of the one who died, I said he would die as well, the son. Well, I heard that Israel did try to kill him and he survived. However, he has major injuries. Well, they're going to get to him eventually. I'm just saying. And they're going to go ahead and keep getting to all of them until finally the regime is done. It's not going to be overnight. And the fix in Trump's mind is only temporary, just like Afghanistan. I could go on and on about this, but I'm not going to. When you see war secondhand for yourself, and I don't mean actually being there, not even on a spiritual level. When you have family members, let me just say that are hardcore veterans that have fought in a real war, and you see the repercussions and the things that they've been through in their life, the trauma from the war, yeah, it changes the whole trajectory of everything. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Kier Starmer. What I'm going to say is in the next 3 to 5 months, it's going to be more than that, but the start of immigration influx. There's going to be a significant amount of migrants trying to leave their war-torn countries. And I'm not talking just about Iran. I'm talking about Beirut, which is in Lebanon, Syria, and other places that could be affected by this. The UK is going to also have migrants, and Europe, France. France is my number one. And some of the Nordic countries as well. And Turkey, the country Turkey. Yeah. By the way, I want to say, is Erdogan, the leader of Turkey, they're watching this conflict with Iran. They're watching it very closely because I keep being taken to hostility factors here. Turkey is on the watch. They know that they are most likely could be next if the United States and the IDF are successful in Iran. But Iran has many secrets. You go back and watch the video that I put out in 2024 and it explains everything. I don't need to do no more videos on Iran. I've already said it all. In my opinion, that's what's going to happen. And there's no fix. It's all temporary. It's a repeat. Everything is a repeat. Okay, so there's going to be a huge... Okay, well, I want to talk about UK. They're showing me the Arabian countries there. Saudi Arabia, Peninsula, okay. Saudi Arabia, Oman, the United Emirates, Dubai. Some people pronounce it Dubai. And these leaders are all doing conference calls and they are pissed. Oh my God, they are so pissed. And I told you guys, the leader of Saudi Arabia, Mr. Mohammed, is not one you can play with. One day he's going to be a significant piece to what's to come in the next 2 to 3 years. You didn't hear it from me, but that's just what I've been shown. They're not going to be, they're not happy with Trump or BB. No, they didn't want to get caught up in this. And I have been saying, Saudi Arabia and the leader there, I see him shaking hands in Russia. And there you have it. Okay? More crimes are also going to be coming out in this. The truth about who really bombed the young little girls' school over in Iran is going to come out. And even though that happened on a Saturday, there were a lot of children that died. So please don't tell me that the school was empty because it was a weekend, because I know better. Right? Okay, so if you thought Kier Starmer had an embarrassing moment, you haven't seen anything yet. That's what I'm hearing. If you thought he had an embarrassing moment, something else is going to happen and he's going to look really stupid. That's what I'm being shown there. And there's also going to be another elite over in the UK, Europe. It's going to be connected to Epstein, and it's going to be pretty significant. I was getting someone, at first I thought maybe am I seeing the Labor Party, but I don't know. I can't say. And also there's going to be more information about Tony Blair as well. It's weird. So Kier Starmer. Interestingly, they kept taking me to an area, like his church, and I think I've mentioned this before, and I said Kier was around 17 and a half years old when he connected with this red hair guy. This is what I was getting. He was connecting with this red hair guy, and the red hair guy was like 35. He was connected to a church and or education, evolving around younger boys. But he ended up grooming, let me see, that's just not the right words, but became a little close to Kier. He liked Kier. He liked him, right? He tried to take him under his wing, let's just say that. And then eventually, over time, he introduced Kier to other elites, and then he was introduced to people like Jimmy Savile and things like that. But Kier is in the position he's in now because of that, because of this red hair guy. I don't know, he's a fire sign. I was getting a Leo, possibly. Don't know who the red hair guy is. He kind of reminds me of Harry, but it's not him, obviously. But he has the same type of hair as Harry. And then I know that he has a partner. But why am I being referenced back to Macron and Bridget? Perhaps Kier was in a similar situation. We all know the story about Bridge and Mac, if you believe in it. I mean, I pick up masculine, but it's not for me to say, right? Because I'm not into any type of conspiracy theories whatsoever. But energy feels like a man. Could be a woman. Yeah. So is it fair for me to say, was Key, a vict? Maybe. But there's no excuse. You break the cycle. You break the cycle and become a better person through all of that. as most of us have had to break the cycle over some type of karmic repeat. You don't want to hurt other people when you've been hurt because you know what that feeling feels like. Just like I don't want to speak on Iran too much because I know what it's like to see veterans triggered, and I'm sure this war in Iran is triggering veterans. I'm glad my dad's in heaven because he would have been triggered by this so bad. He was in Vietnam. Horrific. Okay. So I'm seeing those things. Terrorist attacks, of course. I was getting something with London and, of course, France, Paris. I was seeing a man loaded, like he was like loaded with grenades. And I felt like this could be possibly down in London, either Paris or London, like a downtown area, like a shopping area, like old buildings, long windows. And he goes into the buildings and just does bad things. I think this can come off the timeline. I'm going to pray about that. But I was being shown terrorist attacks all over Europe. I'm getting something with Germany. There's a city in Lomberg. There's a town in Germany. It starts with L-U-M. L-U-M. Oh man, I see it, but I can't see all of it. But it's in Germany, Lomberg or something. It's a good terrorist attack there, or some type of attack connected to terrorism in some way. Yeah. Kier Starmer is not going to know how to handle the immigration issue. He's not going to know how to handle the influx of migrants because that's happening. That's going to happen. The influx of migrants leaving all different countries in the Middle East are going to seek refugee, and they're going to try France especially. Germany, but not as much. Germany is not as much. But the UK, Ireland, all over the place. And Turkey. Again, I told you, Erdogan and Turkey are waiting. They're waiting for the IDF to hit them next. Okay, I think that that's going to be their next target, possibly. And it's going to be a while. But yeah, and this is when allies turn against allies. This happens before World War III, which I think is going to happen between 2028, 2029. I was getting August, September of 2028. When you start seeing China badgering at Taiwan and other places, that's when my eyes are really going to be open. So what we're seeing now, yeah, it's the front. It's a start. It's a front that's opening, just like Russia, Ukraine. Then we had India and Pakistan. There's going to probably be something with Cyprus, you know, Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait. These fronts have to open. Oh, and North Korea versus South Korea. All these fronts are starting to open. And when they're all open at the end, then there's a big problem because we have World War III. And again, and I was shown 2028. But doesn't mean bad things are not going to happen because bad things are going to happen between now and then. But the worst of it is not here yet. I'm just letting you know. But I'm not the brunt of bad news because we can pray. We can pray all we want. And there's nothing wrong with that. Bring in some light and some goodness. But sometimes old foundations, things have to happen. Things unfortunately have to happen to completely knock shit off of the slate. And it ain't always good. Just like the gas I was being shown, all the poison I was being shown in 2024 when I remote viewed it in Iran. Now, we should have never hit them. We should have never went after their, quote, regime. No, we really didn't go after the regime. That's what Trump says. IDF and Israel, they like to weaken Persia. They like to weaken Middle Eastern countries that are Muslim. Yeah, I know there's terrorism there, but nobody was bothering the fuck out of us. But they might now. Sleeper cells are awake. Meanwhile, you have people like Kier Starmer who has no clue. Then you got people like Trump that are overpower. I'm just like, one is dumb and one is just obnoxious as hell. I have always been mutual, and I'll say that. I don't take sides with no politicians on either side. Kier will exit at some point. Trump might push him out of power, actually, because Trump's pissed at him, but it won't be right now. But it could happen at some point. And I see another person in the Labor Party, or maybe it's conservative, or I think it's Labor, that's going to fill in for Keir Starmer. But then when the big votes happen in 28, 20, and 29, even if we are going through some type of war, you're still going to, I see votes. It's going to be a completely different party. It might be a party that the UK you've never heard of before. Or it could be somebody connected to the conservative. Because I told you all the conservative is being remodeled right now behind the scenes. But honestly, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know who it is. But it feels to be, yeah, they kind of feel like the reform. But I don't know that it is the reform. Could be a new group by then that comes out like the reform, but they're not exactly the reform. Yeah. So I'm all over the place. I told you this is how it is. That's why I like to do it off camera sometimes so I can write it down. But this is good. I have some other things that keep coming through. One is Joe Biden, yeah. I don't know that I want to get into this one. I don't know that I want to get into this because it looks like this has something to do with his first wife. Oh yeah, it does have something to do with his first wife. Oh God, my heart's pounding now. Because she was killed in Delaware in, was it 1972? Because it looks like 70s in a car wreck. It was hired. Oh, it was a trucking company. This was a, oh, this was not an accident. His first wife, no, this wasn't an accident. Things were already cooking behind the scenes with the second wife, you know. And the truth is going to come out about how young certain people liked their women. Disgusting. I gotta watch what I say. Ooh, but I'm not into conspiracy. Really, I'm not. It looks like it was not an accident. All these different things off topic. That's how it works for me. And it's so hard to keep up with it all, my brain. So his first wife, possibly not an accident, possibly something to do with hire, and there was already something going on behind the scenes with, yeah, with that. Oh my God. Anyways, I'm gonna all that. It's just now Kier is stepping in and telling his wife, "I'm not a dumbass. I'm not a dumbass." Yes, you are. You have to get something right, and you're not doing it. I don't want to share a bed with you. I already know what you. What are you talking about? I love you. You know I'm straight like arrow. He is, of course. All right, guys, I've got to stop this. Where are we at? Looking for my glasses and they're on my head. Yeah, we're done. We're done.